You guys want to know what I've been really thinking about in the past few days? Is this music is absolutely not setting the tone, okay? Because it's dark MAGA, right? So let's shut that music off. I want to introduce you guys to this, and because we're talking about the American election right now, right? The upcoming one in 2024. So if you don't know what dark MAGA is, you can pretty much just search it on Twitter, dark MAGA hashtag, and it's a form of a meme magic, right? Just like in 2016, it's not really like an organization or a movement or an ideology. It's more like a vibe, right? And the vibe of dark MAGA, if I were to describe it, is basically that like the 2016 Trump movement was like very naive, and it was very idealistic, and it was very much based on like the golden 50s or whatever, like uh the 50s, and fucking it was bright and shining and it was golden, whatever. And that the dark MAGA thing is more kind of like how do I explain it? I'll just show you a picture to understand. This is the vibe. And you have to understand, when it comes to aesthetics, it's not really so much about rational meaning or rationality. It's more like a vibe, right? So this is dark MAGA, right? The idea is basically that like the next cycle for the next election is not going to be like 2016 where it was like idealistic. It's going to be dark. And by dark, it's like extremely ambiguous as far as what that's concerned, but like it's going to be vengeful. It's I am vengeance, right? Is the idea for it. And if you look at the hashtag on Twitter, there's gonna be a lot of scary shit you're gonna see, but it's an aesthetic. You have to respect aesthetics for what they are, right? Demonic, it's more like about revenge, and it's more about it's like what it sounds like. It's dark MAGA. It's Trump going dark and brutal and merciless. Why this is all very familiar to me is because I thought this was the 2016 Trump movement. I had become enamored by an internet trend around 2015, 2016. This was back when I was kind of a leftist, which was called the Dark Enlightenment and Neo Reaction. And I honestly was thinking, okay, this 2016 Trump movement, that's what this is. It's this new rise of Silicon Valley, neo-reactionary, dark enlightenment stuff. And basically, dark enlightenment is just sounds what it sounds like. It's supposed to be this kind of evoke this very scary kind of like, you know that feeling in your stomach you get when you're confronted with the possibility that everything you think about the world is wrong? It's basically like supposed to embrace what's beyond their neuroticism of political correctness and beyond the neuroticism of the liberal status quo, and just this depth of just dark enlightenment that we just neglect and turned our back on, right? Nick Land, he wrote an essay about it back in the day. And I actually thought that Trump's movement was going to be that, right? Yeah, like Palpatine or a Sith Lord or some kind of shit, right? But I was wrong. That's not what Trump's movement in 2016 was. That appears to be the vibe. It's kind of like an ideological stretch, but that appears to be the kind of vibe going forward in 2024. And dark enlightenment basically means like a very, just for right now, it means like a very fundamental break with the system and the status quo, right? A very fundamental break and kind of like destruction. It's very much a combination of destruction as well as this kind of baroque aestheticization of destruction and revolution or whatever, right? Where it's not like this kind of bright idealistic enthusiasm for a positive future, and then the evil destruction is just a side effect. It's like it's like a kind of, it's very hard to explain, right? But it seems to me like the aesthetics of a civil war, right? A coming civil war. Um, Now, when I first coined CPUSA 2036, I want to give some context to that, right? Because I am gonna take credit for this. I'm not gonna take credit for it in the sense that I coined dark MAGA, but this aesthetic, I'm taking credit for it. Okay, so in 2021, I was doing a live stream with me and the showrunners and also this guy named Cocky Duty. You don't know who he is. And we were basically discussing, I was discussing a vision that I had about why I think the CPUSA is worth reclaiming. And my idea was that, we actually didn't know this, but we didn't know what future was for America. We just kind of had a very multipolar orientation. We understood a new significance of China and Russia. But the question of America was still like, America is the great Satan in a sense, right? It represents the culmination of modernity and the Enlightenment to the point of self-consuming madness. So for us, so for me, I came to this conclusion that the CPUSA 2036 basically refers to a kind of like chickens coming home to roost for America. Because America, this is what the neo-reactionary writer Moldbug said, and he's more or less kind of correct. Communism is as American as apple pie. But he's saying it from an anti-communist perspective. Communism came from America. The kind of destructive negation embodied by communism of this revolutionary overthrow of old orders and an ancient regime, this universal abstract kind of state planning, all of that has its origins in America. That's actually what America is, okay? So for me, the Communist Party, the reason communism never really took root in America is because America was already communist from day one. It always was, right? In a sense. It's just that America is a jealous god that does not tolerate other communists in its midst, right? The problem America had with the Soviet Union and China wasn't that they were communists, it's that they weren't America, right? So yeah, it's a really big red pill, I guess. But my idea for the Communist Party 2036 as the future of America is that by bringing communism to America, America will confront its own image. It will confront its own reflection, its own mirror image. And this confrontation will produce something. I don't know what it's going to produce, but it will produce something historically novel that is the destiny of America. The chickens must come home to roost. The idea basically is that from some kind of alchemical combination, American communism will awaken an American civilization. Because the whole idea was basically this, guys. Let me sum it up for you like this. Russia and China have cultures and civilizations, and communism was just a layer on top of that. America doesn't have a civilization. All we have is technology, formal, abstract, universal statehood. So it's like we just have this kind of reflexive communism, but we don't have like the fundamental substantive social bonds that link a people together. We don't have unwritten, unconscious prohibitions, and we don't have a patriarchy, if you will, right? Not in a feminist sense of the word patriarchy, but like in the sense of like a Freudian sense of a patriarchy. We don't have that in America, right? So for me, the kind of science fiction vision of CPUSA 2036 and a communist civil war in America was about this confrontation between America and itself in the form of communism, that will somehow, through a kind of negation of negation, produce or give breathing room to the final expression of some kind of social substance, some kind of civilization, some kind of tradition, some kind of thing that can give rise to a real civil society. So that was my idea. And to me, I literally was describing this in the stream for CPUSA 2036 that no one really ever fully understood the aesthetic. For me, CPUSA 2036 was not like a gothic or baroque or necessarily demonic aesthetic, but it was dark glowing red. It's literally what I called it. I called it dark glowing red aesthetic. And I specifically, where I got this vision from was I was driving on the highway during the winter when it was snowy out, and it was very foggy when I was driving on the highway. And I was looking at the red bumper lights of the cars in front of me, and that's pretty much where I got the aesthetic from. Like, to me, that whole scene, that kind of like scenery, that to me, that was the aesthetic of American communism for 2036, for the future. It's like this combination of dark glowing red in the fog, right? Red being a communist color, right? So it's hard explaining this to you guys because I'm yeah, I told you, primarily I'm an artist before anything, right? But are you saying Matt Reeves ripped you off? That's what we're gonna get to here. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was that dark MAGA is very clearly primarily inspired by the new Batman movie. Okay, and this new Batman movie, that's pretty much what it is. It's very, I need to like collect myself, maybe do some writing to describe this better, but the new Batman movie is what dark MAGA is. When Batman says like, I am vengeance, that is dark MAGA. That's what dark MAGA is. Dark MAGA is about some kind of vengeance, right? Some kind of vengeance against the crime and lie of liberalism. So let me first disclose my kind of sympathy, right? I never really fully related to the anger of the right wing or of the dark MAGA people before, or the MAGA people, until I started becoming a streamer. And to be completely honest with you, I mean, you guys already know this, I have an indescribable level of anger and resentment, bordering on just real, like, black hatred of not only liberalism, but liberals, right? Or whatever, leftists, whatever you want to fucking call them. Like, these, it's, and this anger that I have toward them, I can't even describe it in detail, but it is a righteous anger. But it's also a kind of vain anger. It's both righteous, because why is it righteous? And this is the goddamn fucking truth, right? I mean, I don't know what I need to do to prove this, but this is the truth. It's because of the way they lie. It's the way that they lie is so Lovecraftian. And not even you guys will ever be able to fully understand it, because we as human beings are not even supposed to be... We're not even supposed to be confronted with the possibility that people can lie and manipulate our reality alchemically in this kind of way. Okay, I went from being a guy who's like you guys to being a public figure, and the lies that are told about me, and the lies, not only the lies they say, but the lie of the image they've created of me. They've created an image of me that's a lie, right? And it's like there's nothing I can do about it except be angry, right? And again, the anger comes from the fact that it's just not the truth, okay? And there's nothing I can do about it. So that's kind of a microcosm of the way in which, I don't even know if I should call them right-wingers anymore. I just say people who are really angry at the status quo feel about not only themselves, but their communities, their life experiences, their own histories, and everything. They're looking at how the media is just creating a false image of both themselves and America. And not only that, but also the populist movements from 2016. And people are so fucking... they're so angry about it. They're so angry about the way the media lies about our reality. And a lie is not just when people say something that's factually incorrect. It's when they paint a completely false picture of reality, which, scarily enough, we don't even have the cognitive or critical skills to be able to identify as a lie. We literally accept this as our reality, and it changes how we look at the world, right? Now, I'm a guy who has fully given myself to the public, the public image, right? I don't really have a personal image of what I am or who I'm. An artist first and foremost. So when I look in the mirror, I actually, when I look in the mirror, I'm kind of like, I have the Heideggerian shock. Like, how the fuck am I real? How do I have hands? What is this? How did the cosmos, I should say, make this possible? Like, the fact that I'm here as a human being, living, breathing human being, is a fucking miracle, right? For Heidegger, that was like this kind of sense of how should I put it? Astonishment. We experience this like this sense of awe at the fact that there is something rather than nothing, right? Look at the lies that are being told about Ukraine, you know? Just in general, I want to say, I really, really understand the anger. And that's why I understand Dark MAGA. I understand the vengeance thing, right? I really fucking get it. Like, I have such extreme fucking hatred for these people and for everything they represent. I have such extreme hatred for the fucking media and for the status quo and for all of these fucking scum who are telling all of these fucking lies and lying to us every fucking day. But that's not why I fucking hate them, that they're just telling lies. I hate them because they're actually changing reality with their lies. They are actually changing how we experience reality with their lies, which is actually the same thing as changing reality with lies. And I can look around me and see how our reality is starting to be shaped by falsehood and by lies, right? And it makes me so fucking angry. It makes me so fucking angry beyond the fucking threshold. Even I don't know if I can tolerate it some days. That's how fucking angry it makes me, you know? I hate how they get away with it. I hate how there's no justice. I hate how they get away with the lies. And it's like when you confront them with the lies, they're just like, haha, that proves how powerful I am. That's really what they do. When you confront them with the lies that they're telling, their response usually isn't to defend themselves or to do anything like that. It's pretty much like, ha, you're right, I did lie, and I'm getting away with it. I'm getting away with the lies. And, you know, the majority of people are going to buy into the lies. The majority of people could not possibly fathom or comprehend how someone could just tell such a lie of such a, even I can't. That's why I'm telling you, I get gaslighted by it, because even I sometimes have trouble understanding how people could tell such a big fucking lie. So what do you think, like, the average person thinks when they just optically engineer my image completely and artificially in that kind of fucking way, right? It's what Putin said. It's an empire of lies, right? I mean, most of you don't really understand how much you're being manipulated by these people. They are really lying. They really are lying, right? And I'm not just saying they're misreporting facts. When I say they're lying, I'm telling you that they're making you experience reality in a fundamentally different way, and in a way which contradicts the real thing. And they don't care. They don't have any commitment to the truth whatsoever, just so-called power, right? And to be completely honest with you guys, as a man, as a 25-year-old man, I don't even know what's significant about that. That hurts my fucking heart. It hurts my fucking heart that truth is not united with power. It hurts my fucking heart that truth is repressed. Truth is something that's buried. It's something that's like accursed and it's like you have to do so much to bring the truth out. And it does hurt me. It hurts my soul. It hurts me spiritually, and it hurts my fucking heart, right? It hurts my fucking heart how they're able to get away with the way they're lying about what's going on in Ukraine. It's not just, you know, the shit they say about my personal optics. It's everything. It really does fucking hurt me, you know? And when I say it hurts me, I'm saying it's an immense cause of suffering for me. And that suffering is something I experience as anger. It makes me so fucking angry. I really understand the MAGA movement's anger because I know the media did the same exact thing to them and is still doing that. So trust me, I really understand the fucking anger, right? But the reason I have mixed feelings about dark MAGA or whatever, this new aesthetic, is because I want you guys to watch that Batman movie. Because this is what something I predicted before, and it's kind of a really big tragedy that, unfortunately, I mean, I'm open to being proven wrong, but this is what I anticipate. I really do anticipate that, look, the Batman movie had the dark MAGA aesthetic, but how did it end? What happened at the end of that movie? You had a new reconciliation. And that reconciliation was represented by the Green New Deal and the Great Reset. You had like an AOC politician, and it's like Biden's Build Back Better. So what I'm worried about is that in the 2024 election, you know, MAGA's gonna do some crazy shit, and they're gonna fail, just like the Riddler failed in that movie, or Batman failed, depending on how you want to look at it. And then that's gonna be the start of the new legitimation of Meghan Markle, or whatever Great Reset agenda they have in store for us. You know, it's like they're gonna have this vengeance, and they're gonna want to express that vengeance in some kind of fucking way, in a really stupid and reckless way, which no one is prepared for right at this moment. And then the elites are preparing for it, though, just like they were for, you know, the last time. If you remember the January 6th thing, that led to new terrorism, domestic terrorism laws, and a huge increase in the power of the state and a curtailment of our civil liberties, right? So I'm wondering if vengeance is going to be the pretext which they're anticipating in power for an unprecedented level of complete curtailment of our civil liberties and a full, you know, instatement of the Great Reset and whatever agenda they have lined up for us, which our constitutional protections are preventing from happening. I really want people to keep that in mind. Like, this, if you ever watched that TV show Outlander, it was about the Jacobite rebellion, and this woman travels back in time, and she sympathizes with the Jacobite rebellion, but she knows they're gonna fail. And after that failure, you're gonna have like centuries of tyranny in Scotland by the British Crown, right? And sometimes I kind of feel like that with dark MAGA. I feel like maybe it's already decided that it's gonna fail. Trump, I should say, in general, in 2024, is gonna fail. And that's going to be their pretext for ushering in this new Great Reset. What I'm worried about is if dark MAGA is just playing into their hands, right? But the crazy thing is that part of Infrared's aesthetic has been one of reconciliation, a new type of reconciliation. And what reconciliation basically means is that the contradictions of the era become resolved. You know, if you want an example of reconciliation, if you come from a Christian background, the morning after Christ's crucifixion, right, when he was resurrected, that's reconciliation, right? That's what that is. And, you know, I always say that I'm early to every thing in history because I have mastered the dialectic or whatever. But I think right now, the aesthetic of the 2020s is not dark MAGA. It is not 80s synthwave. It is not this kind of like, this is just the leftover from the 2010s. This is the last hurrah of the 2010s. After that, you are going to have an era of reconciliation in the 2020s. And that reconciliation, which is like the morning after the darkness, that's either going to be monopolized by, you know, the Democrats' agenda and the Carl Schwab agenda and the Bill Gates agenda, or whatever you want to fucking call it, the Great Reset, or that reconciliation can be monopolized by counter-hegemonic and popular forces, right? Which is what Infrared's aesthetic was actually about. Infrared's aesthetic did not begin as one of vengeance. It began as one of reconciliation. Trust me, I want to see these people lose, okay? And I also want justice. It's not just vengeance, it's justice, right? But I feel like the best justice, I feel like the best type of justice you could do, and the best type of suffering that can be inflicted on these absolute scum, lying piece of shit liberals, is reconciliation. It's like, you know that fucking meme of G, which is what is that meme? Like it's like that song's playing, and what the fuck is that song? The bloomer meme, right? The hopium bloomer meme, where like China's thriving and China's being successful and China's rising, and the liberals are going to become the ass mad butthurt ones, right? That's what we need to do. And to me, the whole founding project of Infrared was based on that. What we need, guys, is not really vengeance. I mean, this is just for me, for Infrared, as I'm saying. We don't need vengeance. We need to take reality back. We need to find a way to take reality back. We need to find a way to let the truth be a force of might in the world once again. We need to take reality back. Infrared's symbol is literally an infrared globe. Why is it an infrared globe? Because the globe is their symbol. It's the symbol of objective true reality. We're taking that back. That's what we need to take back. We need to take back the true object, the true objectivity of a reconciled morning. Okay? We need to take reality back. We need a unity between truth and power, because right now, power is reigning at the expense of truth. We need to merge truth with the power and let the truth become a mighty force in the world again. With that being said, I don't exactly know what Dark MAGA means, right? I don't know exactly what it means. I don't know if it's inevitable. I don't know if it can be stopped or not. But to me, something that's more fundamental than vengeance is the force and power of a new object. The force and power of a new object, which, yes, will correspond with the complete and wholesale destruction of the current world order, the current status quo, and the system. But that's not even what we're focused on. That's just going to be a side effect. What we are focused on is taking reality back. And if taking reality back means the complete destruction of the current system and the current status quo, so be it, because we are not going to flinch. We are going to pursue our task without any hesitation of reclaiming our Communist Party, of creating a merger between the brightest minds and the working class movement, and we are going to fight for a republic by, of, and for the people. We are going to take reality back, and we are going to make truth a mighty force once again. Whatever destruction is a side effect of that, we don't care. We go forward. We go forward with the single-minded pursuit, not of vengeance, but of truth and reality. This is, by the way, what Marx said. Marx said, we will pursue the truth no matter where it lands us, no matter where it takes us. We will have the bravery to be faithful to the object, regardless of what that entails or what that fucking means. We will take not one step back. It's not about vengeance. It's about a new reconciliation. It's about truth. And it's about that new morning that we're going to awaken to. And every fiber of our being, every ounce of our strength, every bit of our energy will be devoted to realizing that new sunrise at the edge of the horizon. And the first step to taking reality back is to not blink and not flinch. Take reality back. Prove reality and let them exhaust themselves. What I've done for my own personal image optics, we must do for the movement itself. What have I done? I have overloaded the system. They have nothing, they can't even run out of new shit to say. The lore of Haas, all of this shit they smear me with, I give them an endless supply of new lies. And why do I do that? Just to make it easier to contrast those with the truth. You've heard everything under the sun about me. Every type of fucking lie you can think of, they've thrown to my image. And they've created this image of the lie of what Haas is, which is 1000% based purely in lies. What I'm doing is overloading the very system that projects images so that a little tiny little bit of reality will be that inch easier to contrast it with. You overload the system with lies, and it makes the truth come out that much fucking easier. And that is why I'm even talking about Dark MAGA. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. You search Dark MAGA on Twitter, there's gonna be a lot of pretty dark shit. Very dark shit, right? But guess what? That darkness is the mirror reflection of the evil of the current liberal order. And all of its fucking lies. When you overload the system with all of that darkness and all of that fucking evil, it'll make it that much easier for the glint of truth to rise from the surface. It makes light that much easier. You make things so fucking dark that the tiny speck of light is the only thing you can see in the room. That is how we destroy this empire of lies and the machine of optics engineering that they've crafted and they've created. And that is what I am resolutely committed to doing. That is the whole purpose for my presence anywhere on the fucking internet. It is to destroy their machine of optics engineering. Everyone who's been fucking lied about, everyone who's been slandered, and everyone who's been fucking smeared is going to get their last laugh, and they're going to get justice. It's not enough to say all they have is lies. That is not enough to say all they have is lies. You have to prove the truth in reality. You have to break the spine of the empire of lies. You have to break the back of the empire of lies. You have to break their machine of lies. I don't know what the future of dark manga is. But all I can tell you is that Infrared has its own unique aesthetic, which maybe dark manga can culminate into one day. But we should all keep an eye out for this. We should all keep our eyes on this. And we should recognize, though, that this is not the end point. Vengeance is not the end point. Reconciliation is. Taking reality back is. That's the end point. You guys also have to understand something, that this dark manga theme, this is like the first form of meme magic I've seen since the 2016 manga movement. But guess what, guys? It's very important to add some ideological clarity to it, you know? Firstly, there are some actors that are a minority, not most, who are like, in an edgy way, they're associating it with Nazism, and they're putting swastikas and all that kind of shit. But the reason they're doing it is mainly because they're embracing all of the evil and darkness that Trump's movement was accused with, right? Nothing convinces me more of that than the fact of that new Batman movie, which is a very historically significant film. Very historically significant. But keep your eye on the ending of that film. Every time there's a film like that, focus on the fucking ending. And in the ending of that film, you have the Great Reset and the Green New Deal and an environmental catastrophe that leads to Death Stranding, right? It's pretty crazy how I always said when it came to video games, the two most important video games are Bloodborne and Death Stranding, and that Death Stranding is a sequel to Bloodborne. Bloodborne is about this kind of like gothic, dark universe that ails with this need for vengeance and whatever, and then you wake up in the morning and then suddenly you're Sam Porter Bridges and you're in Death Stranding. And that's what's going on here as well. That's what happened in the movie The Batman as well. The end of the movie Batman basically develops this new aesthetic of like a rescue relief soldier or a gig economy delivery person or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Someone who works diligently for the people to basically, you know, maneuver environmental problems and develop the forces of production, whatever you want to fucking call it, right? And you should keep in mind that that's what's at the end of the tunnel of dark manga, okay? What I've come to learn is that it's very easy for people to just submit to the reality given before them. Which is basically a way of destroying your soul as a human being. It just destroys your soul as a human being. Because what you're doing is participating in a collective projection of falsehood. And that eats away at your soul, right? These are very unhappy, miserable people. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not always fucking happy all the time. I am very much, in pain a lot of the time. I'm in pain because the lies actually hurt my soul, right? But the thing that keeps me going is fighting. Fighting those lies literally keeps me alive. It is literally what keeps me living and breathing, is the ability to fight that, right? I cannot really empathize with people who do not fight that and have just submitted to whatever reality they think has been given before them, because I used to be like that, and I saw what the logical conclusion of that is. If you have the bravery to take it to its conclusion. I can't even say what it is on stream, but let's just say human beings are not meant to live like that. They are not meant to live like that. Naturally, we are not meant to fucking live like that. It's absolutely self-destruction. And what we are up against, guys, when you tear away all of the artifice and all the ideological shit, is we are really just up against the destruction of humanity. It's very simple. It's the end of mankind as we know it. It is the collective suicide of the human species. That is what we're up against. We are up against a very slow and methodical process in which human beings are being killed. Our will to live is being broken. Our purpose for living is being effaced. And we are just slowly dying and being killed. And the reason I don't agree with Nick Land is because there's not going to be some kind of AI consciousness that's going to replace us. If they win, that'll be the end for human beings on planet Earth. And we'll just become monkeys again. We'll just become fucking, we'll just, apes are not very elegant creatures. Chimpanzees, they have incest, they fuck their grandma, they kill their grandma on accident, no one cares. That's the life they live, right? And that's what we're slowly degenerating into, right? How are you not a nihilist with all the doomer shit? A lot of people really do think I'm a nihilist because I understand the scale and scope of inevitable annihilation and destruction, and I've made peace with that. Like, a lot of people think I'm a nihilist because of how tolerant I am of the very far right and how I'm not fazed by it. Because I see past everything. I've already seen the end of the world many times over, and I've made peace with it. I'm just focused on what comes after now. I've made peace with the complete destruction of everything. I've made peace with the destruction of every ideology, every hope ending in disappointment. I've made peace with all of that. The threshold of neuroticism is something I have ventured past many times before, and I've completely made peace with that fact. I focus when you let me put it this way. When you really focus on what matters, it's very easy to just not care about a lot of things because you actually just focus on what matters, right?